Hello everyone. Today we are going to be working out of our Science Explorer Motion, Forces, and Energy textbook. We'll be starting on page 10. That's page 10 with a special article that introduces us to science. Understanding nature's designs. Fish in a tank glide under the watchful eye of a video camera. Inside of a glass box, spiders spin webs in the wind from a powerful fan. This is a biomechanics laboratory, says Professor Yanis Maiolis. What we study is how animals and plants use energy, motion, and forces. Maiolis walks over to a network of earthen tunnels built between two panes of glass. The structure looks like a toy ant farm, but it has a tube for blowing air over the top. Maiolis explains, this is a cross-section of a prairie dog burrow. There are two entrance holes. One hole is flat, while the other one is built up and rounded. Biologists were wondering why. They thought the prairie dogs wanted a good view, but then why not make both holes high and rounded and get a good view from both? Maiolis and his students are learning the likely reason. Wind blowing over a flat surface moves more slowly because it doesn't have to travel as far as the same breeze going over a rounded surface. Slow air means high pressure across here. Maiolis points to the flat hole. Fast air going over the rounded hole means low pressure. High pressure here, low pressure there. The hole's shape moves air through the burrow, in the flat hole and out the rounded one. It's Prairie Dog Air Conditioning. Question: how did you get started in science? I grew up in Athens, Greece. It's a congested and polluted city, but my school was in the woods and I could do things outdoors. I got to love nature. I dug out anthills to see how they were inside. I found the places where turtles laid their eggs. In the summers, we lived near the ocean, and every day I'd go fishing and snorkeling. I got to know each rock underwater. I didn't even know what a scientist was then, but I was observing and thinking through things because I wanted to catch fish. If the flow of water was in this direction, where would be a good place for the fish to hang out? I was observing flowing patterns to see where, how, and why fish built their nests. I still do it, in part to catch them because I still like fishing, but now I do it to observe them, to figure them out. I was always curious. Question: you teach engineering. Is that different from science? Answer: well, I enjoyed doing things with my hands, taking things apart and seeing how they worked, building things and making them work. I found that what I enjoyed about studying was learning science and then doing something with it. And that's engineering. I tried to discover something about an animal that nobody ever understood before. Then I'll use that information to design something that will make people's lives easier. Question: how have you used nature in your engineering designs? Answer: here's an example. I've got interested in how heat travels in the chips that make computers work. They're made in very thin layers or films, thinner than 1/100th the thickness of your hair. Sometimes, if chips don't heat evenly, they fall apart when you try to make them. I wondered if any plants or animals had solved that problem, using thin films to control how heat was absorbed or reflected. We looked for animals that bask or lie in the sun, or for animals and insects that depend on the sun for warmth. If you touch a butterfly, you get a dust on your fingers. When I was little, I used to catch butterflies and I didn't really understand what the dust was. If you slice those dust particles, you find that they are made of many layers. These thin films are little solar collectors. Butterflies can change the amount of heat they catch. They just change the angle at which they hold the thin films on their wings up to the sun. Large areas of butterfly wings heat evenly. So we're looking at the layers on butterfly wings to learn how to make computer chips that will transfer heat more evenly. Question: how do you come up with the questions you ask? A. Answer: it depends. Sometimes it's simply by observing things. If you see a maple seed with wings falling in a fancy way, you might not even think twice about it. But if you start observing and appreciating nature, you start asking questions about how things work. Why would it help the tree to have a seed that could be blown by the wind? I can combine my love of nature from when I was small with what I've learned of science and engineering. All right, so here I have a picture of some maple seeds I actually came across as I was walking around. And so I picked them up, and they're amazing. I didn't even know it was part of this lesson, but here we go. All right, hello everyone. Here we are. I'm up on my deck, and you can see behind me. Oh, that's my former. There's the new Amazon thing way in the back there. Do you see out that way? That's the Amazon Center they're building. But I have these maple seeds, and I had just come across them while I was walking, and then it's in the book, and I think they're so cool. So I picked a bunch of them up, and when I picked them off the tree, they weren't working so well. But we left them out in the sun, and they dried a bit. Now they spin. Now I'll toss them down, but what possible purpose could there be for a seed to be this shape? And more importantly, how could a tree engineer a seed to do this? Well, we can study those things scientifically, and we'll do that. But let's just, let's see, let's give them a toss. Oh, I couldn't, it's facing me, so I couldn't really record it, but oh, they're so fun. So it's in the book, and so what do you think? Why do you think there would be seeds that do that? There's a lot of reasons, and it's actually very, very rational why a tree would eventually develop that seed. And I'll just let you think about it. Why would a tree want seeds that spin in the wind? So think about that.